Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about Fate, Remnant Collide, ladies and gents. So yeah, let us begin. We finally go back to I guess you say the actual protagonist of the story. Well, not this story, but the actual story that it's based off, aka Team RWBY, as they're currently dealing with their own thing. In this case, well, it was literally after their match with Cinder's team, as now currently our girl Yang is now on house arrest. Yes, I basically skipped that part because honestly I don't really think that part is anything too interesting to me. I mean, the idea of well, spoilers if you didn't watch that part of the volume yet. Well, essentially, Emerald used her semblance, her illusion-based semblance, to basically make our girl Yang think that she was about to get attacked by our boy Mercury. But in actuality, he was not attacking, but instead the illusion, and yeah. So for that reason, she's currently in house arrest. As Ruby would say, why would you do that, Yang? I mean, as she would say, I'm sure that's what I saw. He freaking attacked me. I'm not lying, she would say. As Ironwood would be there and would say, unfortunately for you, the public doesn't see that. For now, you're gonna be under house arrest. So just be comfortable with that. And as for you, she would look towards Ruby in this case. As she would say, I want you to prepare for something much more important. From what I hear from Rex, he says that there's apparently something going on, and to be ready, especially you, especially with those eyes of yours. As after saying these ominous words, he would leave. As we go back to Rex's group, we currently see our boy Rex and the rest of his group getting ready for the next match. Well, except for Walter. Walter is currently doing his own thing. As in his own thing, I mean the whole betraying thing. As Tina would say, so, about the matches, I actually wanted to ask Rex, are you okay? What the fuck was that? Sorry about that. That was about, a VTuber that I was watching. Nothing too serious. Why did he have to say that in the first place? God damn it. As anyway, continue on. As we currently see our boy Rex, as Rex would say, yeah, I am fine, Tina. And also, to ask me that, I should say, I'm just a bit worried. I mean, with Walter not here, it's still a surprise that he's not even joining us for the next matches. As while saying this, Rex would say, it's just typical for him, I guess. Anyway, as you would look towards Harmony, as you would say, by the way, Harmony, are we, as she would say, yeah, whatever. As she would still be in her headphones. As you would say, fine then let's get ready for the matches. As she would say, fine, she would say, as after doing so, she would leave. Or at least, both of them would leave. As Tina would say, what happened to you, Walter? She would say. As while saying these words, we would go to another perspective. We would go towards the perspective of that of Junior, as Junior would be preparing I guess you could say a bar inside of the arena, as he's planning to sell some drinks during the matches, thinking it would be a good business venture. As while doing so, he would say, alright girls, he would say, as the Malachite twins. Yeah, Malachite twins. I was thinking, oh, did I say it wrong? Until yeah, never mind. As Milshia would say, yeah, whatever, old man. As while doing so, their servant, their servant Marie Antoinette Alter would be also helping as well. As while doing so, one of them would ask, "Can't wait to see Rex though," she would say. As Moshi would say, "What do you mean by that, Millie? I meant Melanie. I meant Melanie, not Melania." I'm actually kind of done with that joke. So, as Melanie would say, "Yeah, I mean, he is kind of cute though, especially with sometimes his flustered face." As she would say, "Can you stop that for now? Let's just deal with our job first." As she would say, "Fine, Killjoy," she would say. As as their servant would say, "You seem to be quite interested in the boy. Though he can be quite the, how do we say it, reckless type of person." As both of them would look at her and would say, "What do you mean by that?" As she would say, "Well, I am sort of connected to him. Well, more specifically to his past, or at least somewhat." As she would say, or at least, Melanie would say, "Wait, what do you mean by that?" As she would say, "Oh, nothing. Just flickers of old memories." As she would start to reminisce of during the Earth Holy Grail War, or in this case, was it 8th? Yeah, the 8th Holy Grail War, which was when Rex, in his past life, was basically fighting in. As at the time, Marie Antoinette was that of a, I guess you could say like a shadow servant, or I guess you could say a sort of like high servant, which, if you don't know, is basically servants that are basically combined with other servants, specifically mostly divine based ones. And at the time, in this case, Marie Antoinette was actually mixed with that of Nergal, and also that of the god Ogun? Yeah, Ogun, yeah. As she would be used to be a berserker class, in fact, at that point. As while she remembered that part of her past, she would think to herself, though it's certainly going to be interesting since the fall is about to begin, she would say. As she would be talking about the soon-to-be start of the Holy Grail War, the first ever Remnant Holy Grail War. As we go back to Shiana Khan, as her and her followers that are still wanting to just have normal equality instead of faunist supremacy, as you would escape, as she would say, "Made it out," she would say, as she would still be surprised, as she would look towards the woman that saved her, and some of her, some of her followers. As the servant would look at her, as the woman would say, "So that you are my master, right?" She would say, "What do you mean by master?" And wait, hold on, don't tell me that you're a slave or something like that. I would never do that. As she would say, "No, no, 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 no. Well, in a way, yes. But I prefer to be called a servant, not a slave. And besides, I am once a queen. Well, used to be." As she would say, "Well then, allow me to introduce myself fully. I am Morgan Le Fay, the former Queen of Camelot. Or should I say, Fay Camelot," she would say. As she would twirl her, I guess you could say, spear? Well, it's more like a staff than anything else. As she would say, "I want to help you, since you're the one that summoned me. And, after all, you are my master." As she would point towards her hand. As she would look at her hand and would see some sort of tattoo. As she would say, "Wait, I didn't remember getting this," she would say. As she would basically comment on that. In this case, Morgan Le Fay would say, "Well, that's not a tattoo. That is what is called a command seal, which allows you to command me if any way if you wish. But I prefer it if you use it to help me in battles or to boost my morale. I will help you in any way I can, especially since the Holy Grail War is about to begin. As she would say, wait. What do you mean by Holy Grail War? What the heck is a Holy Grail? As she would explain the whole history of the Grail to to the concept of the Holy Grail War, to servants itself, mana, and other such stuff. Hearing this, and some of her, some of her followers after hearing this would say, wait. So you're telling me that if we win this war, we will gain a wish for anything. Am I correct? And she would say, yes. And I seek for you to help me in this interesting war. Since this is not a normal war, since there are 8 servants on each side, the servants of red and the servants of white. I meant the servants of black and the servants of white in this case. As after hearing that, she would say, so that means, as she would look towards her arm, or I meant her hand, as she would see a white, not a white mark, but more like a red. I meant a red and black mark, as it would reveal that she is a part of the black faction. Not in that way, not the race way, but anyway, as she would say, so you're telling me that if we win this war, me and the other, I guess you could say, teammates are going to gain a wish each? As she would say, yes, and that is why I want you to help me in this war, and I will allow you to use my powers. I will allow you to command me in a way, as she would show off her signature skills. In this case, she would summon in a few columns to help her, I guess you could say, her, followers with getting all of their luggage. As she would say, now, let us get ready to leave. After all, the beginning of the Holy Grail War is going to start in a certain place. I can feel the smell. I can feel the energy of the ley lines converging in one single place. As she would point towards a map depicting that of Vale. As we go to another perspective. As we go towards the perspective of our boy Li Shuin, one of Rex's servants, as he's currently helping out with checking if anything goes wrong. As he does, he would use his present concealment to basically hide from I guess you could say enemies. As he does, he would notice someone. In this case, a member of the White Fang, as he would see the tattoo that was branded on her arm, as he would decide to follow her using his present concealment to basically hide in the shadows, essentially. Wait for a second. As it turns out, the actual reason for this White Fang member being here is the preparations of the downfall of Beacon. As after seeing her meeting up with more White Fang members talking about the plan to basically summon, or at least bring in some transported Grim into the civilian area and also causing some chaos with the help of, someone known as C, as in for Cinder, to basically cause chaos. After hearing this, he would, to say the least, try and get ready to report this towards his master. As he does, he would also notice something else. A few members of Cinder's team also converging in that area. As you'd say, so they're also part of this. Very well. Then I will show no mercy to them. As after saying this, he would start running towards his master to try and report this news. And so we'll be ending off this episode right off here, ladies and gents. So Bye bye.